So it's always just a learning process, you know. I think I've never let like I've won quite a few shows. It's never really been something that's got into my head or anything that I really see as that significant. It's more just like a journey, you know. And I think this is another misconception people have. They view it as such a big deal competing in a bodybuilding show, but it's the journey of getting yourself in that shape which is the most meaningful aspect of it, because the show is just one
Mm,
day. But if you're able
yeah.
to get in that shape, you're able to sustain that shape afterwards. That's your whole life. Like your whole life, you're going to be in much better shape, right? You know, and I've seen this a lot with a lot of athletes. Like they'll do a show and they'll completely ruin their post show look, and the physique goes out the window. They'll gain like 10 kilos post show because all that sense of motivation is just gone because the show's over.
Yeah.
Whereas this is another transition I've looked more deeply into. Is like I'm not looking to be in shape just to do shows. I want to be in shape because I want to feel good all year round, you know. And I think that should be the absolute utmost priority for anyone when it comes to physique development.
I see. Yeah, because it's like you're saying, if even if it's not a show, but it's like maybe you're like the average person that wants to look good for the beach in the summer, right? You're going to train really hard throughout the spring so that in the summer you look good. And then once the summer ends and all those parties or whatever is done with, the winter starts and you start eating whatever you want and then you get out of shape again. So I get what you mean. It's kind of like it's what you were saying earlier in the podcast, like having a deeper purpose within what you do, so that when something like that does happen, you don't fall off.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And yeah, it's a big mistake I've seen a lot of, I'm saying more like amateur athletes make, where yeah, the show is like their biggest source of motivation to stick on a certain diet. But like, if that diet makes you, if you like, if it makes you feel better being on that diet, you know, ideally you would want to be on like be consistent with that all year round, right? You know, and if it's, I think that's been another transition I've made during this prep, is doing it in a way which is sustainable for me year round, where I can just stay in shape. You know, like so for example, I have like another show in 2 weeks. I'm just been kind of like there's you know it's just normal life to me. You know, and obviously the last 2 weeks out, that's when I'll kind of push a bit harder in terms of like fat loss and maybe drying out for the show and you know
Hmm.
depleting myself. But then afterwards, I just go back to living my life, being in. Obviously, I won't be as lean or as conditioned leading up to the show, but I'll still be in shape, if that makes sense. And I think that's the best way to kind of go about it. So just having that kind of like self mastery of yourself, of knowing what works for you in terms of your nutrition and everything like that, to the point where you can just sustain and live a better life year round.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not like you're saying you have to be show ready like every day of the year, but it's you're always in a shape that you're like proud of and you like the way you look. And then it's like you probably have a better time like jumping into shows. Like if maybe a show pops up in your head that you all of a sudden you want to compete in, you can because you're not so far away from that.